Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, Wizards, hey, let's just talk really quick, okay? I never ask you for anything. Anything. I never ask, okay, except for, Wayfarer's Bauble getting reprinted. You did that, thank you. A lot, actually, thank you. Its price is finally budget friendly. Oh, and then you, to start respecting players a bit more. You haven't really done that yet, but, okay, I asked you for a few things, but I'm really asking you to please make this happen because Gavin showed off a card that needs to exist. So let's jump into it because we've got the Colossal Dreadmaw. Now, this is a playtest card that I believe Gavin showed off at MC Barcelona, MagicCon Barcelona, whatever it was. And yeah, actually, so as always with these kind of exciting cards, yeah, I'm gonna just make a custom version of it. So here you go. So the Colossal Dreadmaw, and again, this is not my playtest card, this is Gavin's, but please, Wizards, make this an actual thing, is a, of course, 6/6 dinosaur with trample. That costs 4 green. Again, it is legendary because it is the Colossal Dreadmaw. Again, the one Colossal Dreadmaw, but not the one, kind of, because you may cast creature cards from your hand as though they were the card Colossal Dreadmaw. They become, of course, Colossal Dreadmaws. That is an incredible concept because, you know, the question's been up there, right? Hey, if the Colossal Dreadmaw was a commander, what would it do? I mean, like, it already just is a 6/6 trampler, but like, hey, if there was like a Colossal Dreadmaw deck, what would it be? This would be it. This would be the perfect Colossal Dreadmaw deck. Like, your commander is the Colossal Dreadmaw, a Colossal Dreadmaw, 6/6 trample for 6, right? That's just basically a baseline Colossal Dreadmaw. But now every single other of your, you know, creature cards in your hand, every single one of your creature cards in your hand are now also, potentially if you want them to be, Colossal Dreadmaws, because again, it's very specific on how it says this. You may cast creature cards from your hand as though they were the card Colossal Dreadmaw. So you can still cast creature cards from your hand, not as Colossal Dreadmaw. You can still cast them for whatever they are if you want to do that. But yeah, if you want a Colossal Dreadmaw, and who doesn't, right? The best card ever in Magic outside of Wayfarer's Bauble, right? Then, yeah, you're going to keep casting those. So I think not only does this have potential to be a very, very exciting commander that I would love to see them make, but also just the kind of concept that this brings along is very interesting. Again, being able to essentially kind of like spell change cards, essentially, which I think that concept could exist in Magic, and that's a very interesting thing to playtest. So definitely understand why Gavin made this, and for the jokes, right, with Colossal Dreadmaw. That being said, being able to kind of spell change is really cool, right? A commander that could be like, hey, yeah, all the cards in your hand could be Lightning Bolt. Now, that would be very gross, but being able to, you know, make all the things in your hand Colossal Dreadmaw, I think is kind of the really right power level and, you know, just a very unique, very fun thing. So, of course, kind of with these, when I get excited about new commanders are even not technically a commander, right? I mean, the Colossal Dreadmaw is not a real card. If you want to go print it out, go for it. And then, yeah, I'm sure your playgroup will ask your playgroup first, right? Or those of the LGS if they're okay with that. And then, yeah, play with it because it's an incredible concept. Absolutely love this. And, yeah, there's some really exciting things that you can do about it. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be taking you through the budget buys and price to your picks. If you are going to, you know, print that card out and play with it, if this ever becomes the thing, you know, please, Wizards, please actually make this a thing. Then, you know what? Here's how we're going to build around it. Budget buys, price to your picks. Cards that are less than $1 for the budget buys. Cards that are more than $1 for the price to your picks. Cards without my budget or outside of my budget, inside my budget. You know what I mean? Let's jump into it. Starting off with the budget buys. After, of course, I probably should have, you know, revealed this first. Yeah, Colossal Dreadmaw. You know, you don't need to include this in the deck, but you might just for the memes. But a 6/6 trampling dinosaur for 6 mana. Yeah, that's what Colossal Dreadmaw is. There's plenty of memes around it. And also, yeah, now every single one of the cards in your deck that is a creature is also now technically this, as well, as long as your commander's in play. Though, I do say in your deck, they have to be in your hand. It's very specific on that, and that could have kind of changed things if they actually would have said, you know, in your deck, everything basically has the name Colossal Dreadmaw as well, because you could then, like, use certain things to search for that. Unfortunately, that's not how it is, but still very cool that all the creatures in your hand can be Colossal Dreadmaw. Like, you know, Land of Realms. Yeah, here's the thing with this kind of a commander. You can go really, really heavy into mana dorks because, hey, this 1/1 mana dork, Land of Realms, right? This can be really good early game. A single green mana, taps for a single mana. Very efficient, very effective ramp. But also, hey, later in the game, once you've ramped enough, which doesn't take all that long, you are in green. hey, now you can just, instead, if this is in your hand, play this as a Colossal Dreadmaw. Again, 6/6 Trampler for 6, which we can actually reduce that. We'll talk about some things later. But again, you've got some incredibly efficient ways to ramp. I mean, Llanowar Tribe is another great one. This one is a 3/3. Sure, more powerful than a Llanowar Elf, but still, it's basically like 3 Llanowar Elves in a trench coat, kind of. 3 green mana, taps for 3. Yeah, very efficient, very effective. You've got access to so many great mana dorks in green. Just throw in a ton of them and then say, yeah, let's just get everything out. And then all of a sudden, all the creatures in my hand, including these tiny little mana dorks, are now just giant Colossal Dreadmaws that I will overflow the board with and take out my opponents. Of course, yeah, I mean, you can even do some like tribal things in there too, like Elvish Archdruid, 2/2 Elf Druid for 3 mana. Other elf creatures you control get ++1. So sure, I guess you can pump your mana dorks that are elves. More importantly though, tap for a green for each elf you control. A lot of elf mana dorks out there. There's also a lot of human ones as well, and there's some human ones that do something similar to this. So yeah, you can ramp very quickly, very effectively, very efficiently, and really kind of lean into some of those synergies that you might have. That being said, again, yeah, you might have some dinosaur synergies too. You might also have some synergies with a mana dork like Galanra, Call of the Wirewood, an elf itself, 1/2 Elf Druid that has tap add green. So not very efficient when it comes to a mana dork. Again, we've got mana dorks that just cost 1 that can tap for a green. That being said, when you spend this mana to cast a spell, convert mana cost 6 or greater, draw a card. Rules lawyers out there, please correct me in the comments below on this. I mean, I think this is basically a new rule on being able to cast something as a different thing from your hand. But like Colossal Dreadmaw now, if I'm casting instead of it being a Llanowar Elves, which would have been, costing 1, it wouldn't trigger this to draw a card. But now it's Colossal Dreadmaw, which does cost 6. You should be able to draw a card with that. So yeah, again, keep in mind just kind of that different kind of avenue that we have now for having, higher converted mana cost cards out of our hand. I mean, also like Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma, I believe this would work as well. 4/3 Bear, creature spells you cast a power 4 or greater cost spells to cast. Yeah, I believe, again, that Llanowar Elves would not, affect this, obviously, and it wouldn't affect it anyways because of the mana value. But that being said, if you are instead casting the Llanowar Elves as a Colossal Dreadmaw, that is now a 6/6. So yeah, that should get that cost reduction, now only costing 4 for a 6/6 Trampler, which is fantastic. And of course, on top of that, whenever attacks each creature you control power 4 or greater, gets +1 and gains trample on a turn. Nice. I mean, the trample doesn't matter for the Dreadmaws because they already have it. But yeah, swing a 7/7, 7/6/6s, that's nice. Also, keep in mind, another Stampede. Dinosaur spells you cast cost just to cast. Again, you can do some dinosaur synergies in here too. Again, that cost reduction. I mean, if you've got both this and Goreclaw in play, that's what? Just 2 mana to play your Dreadmaw, which is pretty fantastic with everything, especially as Dreadmaw. So you're just like, yeah, let's throw 4 Dreadmaws into play in a turn. Have fun with that. There's some really exciting things that you can do. And yeah, cost reducers like this can really come in handy. Also, take advantage of the power that you're going to be getting with those new mana dorks that are turned into Dreadmaws. Garrick's Pack Leader, 4/4. Whenever the creature power 3 or greater enters the battlefield to control, you may draw a card. Yeah, your Dreadmaws obviously meet that requirement. Your mana dorks don't, but the mana dorks that turn into Dreadmaws, yeah, that would meet the requirement again. Easily having more than 3 power, 3 or more, I should say. So yeah, you can draw a lot of cards with that again. Fill your hand with even more mana dorks that you're going to cast as Dreadmaws. So there's some pretty crazy things you can do. Speaking of crazy, Mirror Box, budget friendly right now. The legend rule is applied to permanents you control. That's nice. Each legend creature control is +1/+1. Also nice. Most importantly though, for this deck, each non-token creature you control gets +1 for each other creature controlled with the same name as that creature. This is kind of like one of those probably golden big cards of the deck essentially, because yeah, if you're just building, hey, let's make everything into a Colossal Dreadmaw, and then the card that says, hey, all my Dreadmaws are amazingly large, that's awesome. Just being able to pump your entire team based essentially on the number of creatures you have in play, that is huge. Just being able to say, hey, you know what? I've got, 8 Dreadmaws in play? Cool, +8/+8 to all of them. Let's swing with 14 Tramplers, showing everyone just how powerful the Dreadmaw name is. There you go. Or, we can just actually pump our entire team very, very effectively. They card like Overwhelming Stampede, which is temporarily budget friendly thanks to Lord of the Rings precons. I think it was the precon. Until end of turn, creature you control gain trample, get +X/+X to the greatest power among creatures you control. I mean, that could be 6. It could be potentially more if you got other pump effects out there, but still, yeah, hey, you got your army of Dreadmaws, and now all of a sudden they're 12/12s instead of 6/6s. Yeah, have fun with that. And again, if you've got ways to pump just a singular one, then casting this, a great way to just demolish your opponents. Now that we talked about all the budget buys, though, of course, there's some great pricier picks we can consider as well. And let's start things off with one that is pretty good. Pretty good. Circle of Dreams Druid. Basically, Gaia's Cradle. Tap for a green for each creature you control. Yeah. Again, basically, hey, you got a lot of Dreadmaws in play, or even Mandorks or whatnot, whatever you have in play. Tap for a ton. Get more Dreadmaws in play. Get more Mandorks in play. Whatever you need to do. Next up, Summerwald Sage. Just outside my budget. Just outside of it. 0/1 Human Druid for 3 mana. Add 3 mana of any one color. Spend this mana. Only cast creature spells. yeah, again, with this kind of a deck, you're probably going to be running the vast majority of spells just being creatures because, again, they have that flexibility of being whatever they are, and then also a Dreadmaw. So yeah, the vast majority of your deck is probably going to be creatures. You might even just make an entirely creature-based deck or just all creatures. That could work as well. So yeah, that could definitely come in handy. If not, Tribute to the World Tree, a very good card. Green, green, green. Again, a more restrictive casting cost, but one that doesn't matter if you're in mono green, right? Essentially, right? Just 3 mana. Whenever a creature's about under control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, get 2 counters on it. So sure. I mean, if you want early, you know, you can get counters on your mana dorks. Yay! Cool. They get slightly bigger. More importantly, though, hey, yeah, basically, most of your creatures are going to be, you know, Colossal Dreadmaws that you're casting coming into play. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards off of them. So yeah, again, a great way to do so. Also, Beast Whisperer. Wizards, you really should have reprinted this one. Don't know why you didn't do that in Commander Masters. Beast Whisperer, a 2/3 elf druid for 4 mana. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Yeah, it's a fantastic card. Again, it will draw your cards no matter what it is coming into play. If it's a mana dork, if it's, you know, whatever other creature it is, if it's the Dreadmaw version of your creatures, that works as well. And also, you can take advantage of your Dreadmaw's power as well with greater good. Sacrifice creature, draw cards, equally sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. I love this card. It's fantastic. I wish it was budget. It was budget for like 2 seconds once. No longer. A great card, though. Again, with your mana dorks, you really would not be able to take advantage of this. Most mana dorks are like 1 power, maybe 2 power. So yeah, you would not be gaining any cards on this. You may even be losing cards. But again, if you're saying, oh, okay, I got a Land of War Orbs in my hand, I'll cast it as a Dreadmaw, which has 6 power, sacrifice it, draw 6 cards, discard 3. I'm up 3 cards on that, getting rid of even dead cards in my hand too. Fantastic. So yeah, this turns all of your cards, all your creature cards in your hand, and essentially just massive draw engines for you, which is huge. Speaking of that, this one I think did get a reprint actually. The Great Henge. Still a $40 card. The spell costs X less cast for X, the greatest power and creature control. Again, if you've got any creatures in your hand, or I guess if your commander in play, just that is what it is. 6 power, Colossal Dreadmaws. There you go. Reducing this down to just a 3 mana card that's absurd. Taps for 2, gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature is out under control, you get a counter on it, draw a card. Gross. Your Dreadmaws are now going to hit for even more. You're going to draw a ton of cards. Green has way too many ways to draw a lot of cards, and yeah, you can really take advantage of that with, again, your deck that is kind of flexible, again, with the low-to-the-ground creatures that can turn into just giant Dreadmaws instead when you're casting them out of your hand later on in the game. Also, you can take advantage of just everything being a Dreadmaw again with Eldritch Evolution. Initial cost to cast it, sacrifice a creature, search live for a creature card, convert mana cost X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrifice creatures for mana cost, put that card on battlefield, shuffle your library, exile it. So again, sure, with mana dorks, okay, you know, I sacrifice my, you know, Land of War Elves again. All right, I'll go get a 3 cost. Cool. Yay. More importantly, instead I'll just cast that Land of War Elves as a Colossal Dreadmaw. It is 6 mana value now. I sacrifice that, add 2, that's 8. You know what I can go get? Cradlehoof Behemoth. That's what, I mean, I can't because this costs way too much for me to use, but hey, you might be able to get it. 5/5 Beast for 8 mana, haste, enters the battlefield, creature control gain trample, get plus X, where X is the number of creatures you control. A massive game-winning effect that you can just go get out because, again, now your Dreadmaws, which help you go get more Dreadmaws, and big things can help just, you know, just destroy your opponents. Just a massive pump effect. You can do some really crazy things with this, and yeah, overall, I think a very exciting design. One that I think, again, has a lot of potential. Not just because, again, like the Colossal Dreadmaw memes, right? But also just the concept of being able to kind of like spell switch. I don't know what kind of term we would use for it, but like spell switching, it kind of makes sense, I guess. Like instead of it being this, it could just be this instead. Yeah, being able to see kind of commanders like that, I think could be pretty exciting. Again, you can, again, go with a very flexible approach to your deck, right? Where you're just like, okay, my card can be this, or it's like kind of having like a reverse side of every single one of your cards just being, again, in this case, Colossal Dreadmaw. Again, there might be a Lightning Bolt commander. There could be something else, essentially, where just you have this commander that gives you that kind of added flexibility of like an MDFC, essentially, for every single one of your cards in your deck, or, again, this one specifically, creatures. There's a lot of potential for that. I think it'd be a really cool approach. Yeah, let me know your thoughts are on this in the comments below. Do you want the Colossal Dreadmaw to be an actual commander? And if not, why are you ruining my hopes and dreams? Why? So, yeah, let me know in the comments below. Do you think this kind of spell switching commander could be a thing? What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.